Hey guys, it's Danny. So the question today is, should I throw away my orchid if it has no roots? And I can totally understand why this question. There aren't many plants in this world that can live if they have no roots. Now the good news is, orchids are savable if they don't have roots. So actually no, you shouldn't throw away your orchids. But I'll start with an example in which it is clear that the orchid will not make it. So on the screen right now we have a case in which an orchid is already dead. However, if you notice, not only the roots are dead, the leaves are also gone, the crown, the stem of the orchid, everything is dry and gone. Well, at this point, it is safe to assume that this orchid won't make it. It has no more live tissue to it. So I would say that if you have a case like this one, it's pretty safe to throw it. However, we have cases in which orchids still have leaves, still have the axis, which is this part right here, and also they still have the crown, which is the top of the orchid. If these portions are still alive and green, there is a high chance we can actually save the orchid. So my particular orchid has no roots, but it's lucky enough to have other organs which can help it grow new roots. And this is the funny thing with orchids, they can actually grow new roots. How they will do that, it really depends on the type of species you have. So for example, a Phalaenopsis will start to produce roots at the base of the axis, whereas a sympodial orchid, such as this Cattleya, will start to produce roots probably from the newest pseudobulb when it starts to grow. Due to the fact that orchids grow so slow, they also save up energy, and they can redirect this energy towards root production. Now, there are many ways to actually promote root growth. Every orchid grower has their own little methods. But we can all agree that the number one factor that influences root production is moisture. Moisture around the area that will produce roots, as well as humidity around the entire plant. I have a video in which I talk more about this. You can visit it right here in the info card if you missed it. And you will see there that I have some tricks to promote some humidity on top of the medium right in the vicinity where orchid roots should sprout. My preferred method is quite simple actually. I like to try to stabilize the orchid in its pot by any means possible. Since it doesn't have any roots, I use stakes, I might use some raffia tape and so on. I try to make it as stable as possible so when the new root tips will grow, the orchid will not wobble around and damage the root tips. In some cases, I will try to increase the humidity around the plant, and I have a humidifier to help me in this process, but some people like to use humidity trays or other methods to provide air humidity. Another thing I do is not place a sick orchid in direct sunshine. I don't usually place orchids in sunshine either, but with sick orchids, it is especially important that you do not dehydrate them further. If they don't have roots, they cannot absorb water, so they will get dehydrated. I like to place my sick orchids in a bright, shaded location, which will not benefit from direct sunshine. Some people suggest that you place an orchid in darkness. I don't agree to this, because the leaves still need to photosynthesize and still need to produce food and energy for the roots to grow. So the best location would be a bright one, but away from direct sunshine. Now in the description below you have some videos I made a while back in which I dealt with some sick orchids that did not have roots or had very few roots, and you will see how I went about them. In most cases, orchids will bounce back, but there will always be cases in which the orchid is way too sick, way too depleted. Maybe it has a secondary infection that you cannot see, or even pests. So don't be upset if your orchid doesn't make it. We do learn from bad experiences. And keep in mind, when dealing with a rootless orchid, it is very important to maintain the axis or stem and the crown healthy. So whatever you do, do not let water sit in between the leaves on the stem and in the crown of the orchid. This can lead to secondary fungal or bacterial infections, and since the orchid is already very fragile, they will take a big toll. So alrighty guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're new to orchids, welcome. It's a wonderful journey, but expect some bad experiences as well. That will teach you a lot for the future. If you'd like to see more orchid videos from me, simply subscribe to my channel. I post on a daily basis. And if you have further suggestions for videos or questions, just leave me a comment down below. I always check them and I always respond. Also, feel free to drop me a letter anytime at the address you see on the screen and also in the description below. If you click on the left side of your screen, you're gonna be directed to orchidnature.com, where you'll find care sheets, identification sheets, and also you can talk to us in the forum section. And on the right side of your screen, you can click to watch another orchid video. Thank you for joining. I'll see you next time. Bye!